it's Sean Grant here, and I am representing BrooklynButter.com in association with Brown Girls in the City for the HERstory project, representing all of the black women who are doing their thing within Women's History Month. Today, I have my favorite lawyer, Andrea Harvey, with me.
Thank you.
The founder of her own law firm. So everybody out there in the world, say hi. She can't hear you, but she knows you're there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started and let you know why she's so great in what she's doing.
Ooh.
First, let them know, everyone, about your specialty in law.
Okay.
And how'd you get to this point?
Okay. So my law office, as you mentioned, Harvey Law Office, is located in Chicago, Illinois. And the areas of practice for me is basically family law. I also do some employment law. But primarily with family law is dealing with people who are what I like to call going through family changes. So this may be people who have never been married, but they have a child together, so dealing with those situations, or people who have been married and they're getting divorced, whether they have children or not. So that's primarily what I do.
Got it. And what led you to actually want to go into that segment? There's various segments in law where people like to go toward, but for you to actually go toward occupational and family law.
For me, well, employment law was almost like a natural transition. I actually had a corporate professional background prior to my opening my own law firm. I worked in corporate human resources, and I was kind of working up the ranks in that. But then I left and decided to open my own law firm. So I had this plan. I was going to do employment, I was going to do bankruptcy, I was going to do this, but I was going to do everything. And the very first case that came through my door, like maybe a month after I opened my own law firm, was a family law case. And I just took to it. And so I took that case, and the referrals just started coming in. And eventually I learned that I just kind of had a thing for it, and I just really got that area of the law. Prior to me, again, opening my firm, I had worked for a judge, and she did some family. So I had that background, but I was always on the other side of it, and I didn't think that I could really just take it because it's so emotionally draining. But some kind of way, I just managed to make it happen.
Definitely. And you're speaking on that road. What road did you take as far as schooling to get to this point? Okay,
so naturally, I graduated from high school, and then I went to a 4-year institution, Mercer University, which is in Macon, Georgia. And then from there, I graduated with my bachelor's, and I went to law school at the University of Arkansas.
Okay, got it. What made you want to leave the South, or how did you end up in Chicago?
It's funny that you would say that, because I always feel like whenever I answer that question, I end up telling way too much about myself. But essentially what happened, of course, as you can probably hear, is I am a Southern girl. I went to law school in Arkansas, and there I met my husband, who happened to be from Chicago. And I'll say my now husband, he wasn't my husband at the time. And so after he graduated, he moved to Chicago, and shortly after I graduated from law school, I moved as well.
Got it. Got it. So we got a love story there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a love story involved, but we'll say that for the...
Okay. Yeah, we're going to hop into that a little bit more. As a black female lawyer, what do you find are some of the common misconceptions that you came across and that you also fought against?
Common misconceptions. Sometimes there's a capability factor. I find that, and I represent both men and women, and I would say it's almost as equal. I have almost as many women clients as I do have men, but sometimes that comes with their own misconceptions. So, perhaps people think that women are the softer sex, or, and then maybe in a case that it could help or essentially hurt them. So, I often find myself kind of not overcompensating, but creating, that assurity and just walking in with confidence to let them know, I know what I'm doing. This is what I do. I practice this every day, and I'm capable of doing the job. What I also deal with, not necessarily even from clients, is just in the courtroom and in the courthouse. Depending on what I have on, I've had situations where people do not believe that I'm actually an attorney. So, of course, I have on, business clothes or whatever, but sometimes I go to the courthouse to run an errand. And I've been standing in the attorney's line, and someone has said, "Oh, excuse me, this is for attorneys only." And I'll say, "I know, That's why I'm here. So I deal with that. You know, people have preconceived notions about what a lawyer is supposed to look like. Whether that's a woman or, you know, in a certain look for that, or even, you know, just only men are capable of being attorneys. So I deal with that.
Got it. Speaking of things like looks and things that people feel like a lawyer or attorney should be, what trait do you feel that you have as a woman that you feel is a strength for you, but can be viewed as or associated as a weakness?
Definitely the emotional factor. Naturally, as women, we are, you know, I'm not going to say the weaker sex, but we're more in tune with our emotions than men are. And sometimes I'll find myself, despite, you know, my need to get to the business of the day, is dealing with clients who are in my office crying. And I just have to deal with that, and sometimes I kind of pause and I have that conversation with them, and so that's definitely a strength, and I think, you know, I appreciate it because my client, that means they trust me, but that could also be seen as a weakness because, you know, we might have wasted 20 minutes on their tears and I can't get to the business of our actual meeting through all of that, but I have the patience to deal with it. Okay.
And growing into your own practice, what has that journey taught you?
It has taught me, above all, that I am enough. Every single day, whether you're in practice or if you're in school or if you're dealing with anything, sometimes you'll have a stumbling block, and it's up to you to either get behind it and let it crush you, or you can kick it out of the way or roll it out of the way. So yeah, it has taught me that I am enough, and every day I wake up with the tools to make it through that day.
Definitely. So you're an inspiration to a lot of girls.
I hope so.
So what are some of your, or who are some of your greatest female inspirations?
So naturally, I think obviously Michelle Obama. I mean, that just kind of speaks for itself. She, you know, is the spouse of the President of the United States, but in her own right, she is an extremely educated woman, professional. She's a mother, and she seems to be able to wear all of her hats very, very well. Also, Oprah. I say Oprah, but I really call her Auntie Oprah. She doesn't know that, you know, I'm her niece, but she is Auntie Oprah. And I really look up to Oprah because she's never been secretive about her story. It's that, you know, I came from the South, and you know, she says I came from humble beginnings, and I've been able to make this of myself. So I would definitely say those are my top two women inspirations.
Got it. Staying on board with the women, it may not be a woman, it could be someone associated with it. When you're headed into a courtroom, what artist or album or song do you think represents you most as that dominant person?
I blast Mary J. Blige's Just Fine.
Okay.
It's either playing or it's in my head. And so it's like, just fine, you can do it. So I wouldn't trade my life, I'm just fine. So it's almost like this anthem where it doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't matter what is thrown my way, it doesn't matter what unpredictable thing happens, I am ready for it and I will be just fine. So that's definitely an anthem of mine.
Got it. What advice would you share with upcoming black female lawyers?
I think I would tell them to stay the course. If anyone who knows me, a lot of my closest friends, they know that there's been times that I wanted to stop. There's been moments where I wanted to close my law firm. There's been moments where I didn't even want to practice law. There were moments when I was in law school that I didn't even want to continue in law school. So I would just tell them to stay the course, because if you push through, if you really push through, that's where the magic happens. It's not, you know, in that moment it seems like a struggle, but the magic really happens when you push through.
Definitely. So taking a couple steps back, going back to Arkansas. Okay. And you met your soon-to-be husband. Yes. So it doesn't just have to be in your love life, but how do you balance your professional and your love and your free time and personal life all at the same time?
I don't know. How do I balance it? I think I ask myself that every day. I was watching a video the other day, and the woman was speaking about the different hats that we as women wear. And I try to just wear my hats when I have them on and not try to stack too many hats at a time. So, you know, when I am at home, I'm at home. And I don't have on my business suit and I don't have on my pumps. I have on my comfortable clothes. clothes, and I'm in the kitchen throwing down. And that's something that I really enjoy. I really enjoy cooking for my family and cooking for my husband. So I try to be present in whatever moment that I'm in. Because I think that honors that moment, but it also is a reprieve for me. Because I tell people, like, I'm a lawyer, yes I am, but there's sometimes that this law office is the last thing on my mind. I want to be, you know, sitting on the couch watching something on television that doesn't involve the law. So, yeah.
Got it. Do you accept house guests for your food?
Yes.
Okay.
My friends constantly want to eat. Yes, I do accept house guests.
Okay, I just had to make sure that I can pop up later
I will
on.
make sure that you're in the rotation,
cool.
But I will tell you when I send the text message out that I have cooked, you should respond very quickly.
Oh, I live with it in my hand, so it'll be like immediately.
Yes, you need to respond because my friends, they're like, Drea cooked. They are there within like 2 seconds.
Oh, it's okay. See, I drive fast, so skirting across the south side, it's not a problem at all. Lastly, what does Women's History Month mean to you?
Women's History Month means it's just everything to me. I think it's important that we value the contribution that women have made to our society. In every big portion of history, whether it's mentioned or not, there was a woman that was a part of it, and she was somewhere either in the forefront or the background doing her thing. And so this is an opportunity for us to honor them, and I'm just glad, you know, to be in the history. Even if it's in the 2016 part of the history, I'm happy to be a part of that.
Got it. And to close out your HERstory, where can we find you online or social media, phone numbers, office address? We're not going to send them to your house.
Please don't come to my house.
They're not coming past my place first. No.
So my office is located in Bronzeville, 710 East 47th Street. My office number is 312-981-0096. And that's 312-981-0096. My Facebook is Harvey Family Law, and you can find me on Twitter and Periscope, where I share videos and legal tips at Harvey Law PC.
Perfect. And there we have it, HERstory with Mrs. Harvey.